To welcome you to our program that is back on the block, Tax for Service. Utu Isi Ogwu Mmepe. Kedu ihe ma maka tax? Yes, sir. Tax gi. Utu Isi gi. Do you pay your tax? What is your role, your responsibility as onye Anambra, dịka onye na-azụ afịa, dịka onye na-alụ ọlụ ịtụ ụtụ isi? Ka ịtụsịrị ụtụ isi gị, kedu oke na ọlụ gọọmenti ibe ihe ha kwesịrị ime kan do wedole gị mma? That's what we're talking about on Tax for Justice, for Service. And I'm happy that we are here again to talk with you. Ka ịkpa dịka ụmụnne ụzọ a ga-esi wee kwụọ onye ukwu walụ n'ihe gbasara ịkwụ tax. Mgbe ụfọdụ ị ga-asị na ịkwụ tax gị, ị mara ndị bịa nalụ gị tax. Gọọmenti asị na ụnụ ada akwụ tax. Una asị na onwe gọọmenti kwesịrị ime fair mirror. Kedu ka anyị esi wee mee ka ihe na-aga n'anya mmịa? That's what we do here on Tax for Service. Maka na ndị na-akwado anyị bụ ndị SIDEC, ndị a na-akpọ Social and Integral Development Center, yana ndị SISLAC, yana ndị a na-akpọ Tax Justice and Governance Platform Anambra State. Onwe nyocha ha mesịrị wee sị mba na ọ dị mma ka anyị kọlụ ndị mmadụ ka o si wee gbatakwụlụ n'ihe gbasara ịtụ isi na Anambra State. Ọ bụrụ na ihe mmemme a na-aga n'iru kwa izu ma Tuesday ma ọkụ elekere abụọ nke ihe, anyị ga na-akpọta ndị dị iche iche maka tax experts, ndị si from government, ndị si from civil society, ndị afịa na ndị dị iche iche ka ha tinye ọnụ n'ihe a na-eme kunu wee maa na anyị jelulu ejelu anaisi olu wee azụbata. Na nke tata, we want to take a look at a very very crucial topic, and that is understanding tax for service. Kedu ihe tax for service ay beli ime tata? Kedu ife ọ bụ ka ihe biteliano ka ko si bido ke ndị na-akwado ya? Kedu kwado your role as onye Anambra equal tax? These are the things we're going to take a look at. And here I have two beautiful persons who are proactive in tax matters. Kafatinyo ọnụrụ onye nke izizi bụ Ugochi Kenya, Executive Director, Social and Integral Development Center, SIDEC. Aina Sigi, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ify. Thank you, our listeners out there. Please just stay tuned with us. Let's share our views on tax for service.
Okay, Onye Ozoso anyị bụ the media team lead in the Tax Justice and Governance Platform, or civil society network. Onye anyị na-akpọ Alfred Ajayi. Alfred, you're welcome.
My pleasure. Good afternoon.
So once again, we say welcome. And then, our bugumuno nandi na kwada anyị bụ ndị SIDEC, ndị SISLAC, yana the civil society, the Tax Justice and Governance Platform, Anambra State Chapter, Bundi na kwadie. When I say, ka aiba balu jebe by neje. Ugochi, each time you're passionate about, citizens paying tax and government doing its responsibility in providing basic amenities, for its citizens. But then, kaine na ihe chọrọ ịmaketa bụ kọwa kenela anyị ka unsu wee nọkata chere maka tax maka a lot of people ikwura tax one asị gị na ihe abụ ihe a na-akụzi na classroom, then ihe abụ ihe a na-etinye ọnụ egwu na-atụ ndị na-anata tax ikwu maka ya ihe na-emebe ahụ ndị na-atụ atụ egwu na-atụfa. Kedu ihe butelu this your interest in tax for service?
Daalụ Ify, daalụkwa na ndị ọma na-ege anyị ntị. Ihe kpatara iji wee ntinye anya n'ihe gbasatara tax na Anambra State wụ anyị na-enega anya eri oge. We try to analyze the IGR of the state, Anambra State, starting from 2013. Anambra State na formulate budget every year. So we try to look at the amount and may approve for years in line with the revenue generation. anyị nenecha anya nenekwuo ma services ha na provide anyị always see na ihe gbasatara taxation enwere a lot of issues enwere ranges from low revenue generation, particularly from internal generated revenue, like I said before, because if we are to look at the trend or the analysis, I think it was just last year that the director of assessment made mention in one of our forums that they are forecasting and anticipating to generate 50 billion at the end of 2024, whereas Anambra state budget as at 2024 was 410 billion, right? So for a state that is not generating up to 50 billion and your budget is 410 billion, how do you want to provide services for the common good, for the citizens, for the traders? So by any challenges in that one, those challenges are rooted to systemic inefficiency. Then when gaps, you know, when you look at the rates that the government that should be collected at the local government level, you gave a hedge go to Kirinde neighbor and mother they qualified how we data, you know, and we system or we just so you not only beata with your policy in Kia which in Kaya Soria web, you know, the work here in a Nigerian election, then we be vote machine, we card reader, who knows what will be, you know, that kind of thing, the system or the sustainable, right? So and then as name with that systemic inefficiency and we poor compliance and also a disconnection between the taxpayers and government actors. But the Caribbean Nima handed the chiche and you didn't have flat rate 30,000 for each trader, right? Ijuro haju, imaro mobara or demma for working and one. Imaro onye neighbor and one neighbor may business. Imaro onye natara loan will be the business. Imaro go no jazwa importer no win number when they 150 shops, right? Ibiakwa how we import and name importation every day 30 feet container and all the rest. Ibiakwa no onye na azuchara nwa ahia azuchara no mother atona no na ufu shop you may your flat rate. So I asemba. N'ihe anụ adịchara fair enough. Ya enene all these challenges ebiasị mgbe a na-eteki decision ndị ahịa nọkwa ebe a na-eteki decision ke ndị chairman nọ ụmụ nwaanyị ha nọkwa ya ndị ọrụ si ha nọ ebe a na-eteki decision ayasị mba ka enweke na ihe anyị kpọrọ task for service ka ndị mmadụ na-atụ ụtụ isi ya ma levy ma rates nọ n'ime ya ma tax nọ n'ime ya kedu ka ihe gọọmenti na-provide ihe gọọmenti na-provide ọkwa ihe ga-abara ma nwoke ma nwaanyị ma onye ọrụ si ma nwa ekwu enwecha ekwesịrị inwegasị schools ọ ga ma nwa ekwu bịa ahịa ikuru nwa gị kpọsacha ahịa gị mara ndeba ime gịnị ije tinye nwa gị na school ka ọ hapụ ịwụ na ị na-azụ ahịa na nwa gị lakịrị so basic education. So ihe niile ndị aka anyị nenechara anya ma inequalities. I've just talked about inequalities and where in terms of public those public facilities. Oh, ahịa ngara before mụnwa jokwu m na-aga, it was very difficult for mụ ịga na market office. So mezienu maka kedu maka ndị ọrụ si n'ebe ahụ onye ọrụ si nwe issue n'ụdịka ahịa o ejenwuje hụ chairman and mara ama na ihe dị ha na nwanne na ime ahịa the next thing na nke chairman ị gara ebe ahụ nwere ọnụ gị ekwuru gị asị gị tụsa phone gị ma ọ anaghị gị ego that kind of those these are the inequalities ihe anyị na-eche anya sị mba mmegbu akarịa ka enwe campaign dị.
All right, emecha ga-ekwu maka inequality between men and women n'ịkwụ tax because ihe na locally visible women consider women mana onwe some men dịkwa at par with women n'ihe gbasara ego nwe nwaanyị ka nwoke. So and ihe na-ekwu ihe ahụ justice okay?
Yes,
we'll get to that, but before then Alfred, you know, when you talk about tax you talk about service to the citizenry. There appears to be a very big gap there. Most citizens don't even understand why they should pay tax. Why is tax payment a civic duty?
You see, one of the ways every government generates money approved by the Constitution and the laws of the land is this payment of tax. And tax payment is something that's part of your, what do I call it now, when you want to brag about your citizenship, that I belong to this.
People really brag with that these days? Brag about that.
If you want to say anything about your citizenship,
yes,
and you want to say, okay, I am supposed to get this and get that from government, you will only come to that extent after you have satisfied these requirements of tax payments. If you are a taxpayer, you can ask government for anything. Whether you will get it or not is a different thing entirely. But when you don't pay tax, you also don't have that moral right to turn to government and say, you are supposed to do this for us, you are supposed to do that for us. If you pay tax, that is when you can do that. But I tell you that the cold attitude that people have towards payment of tax is something that's happened over time. It started gradually as we have incrementally bad governance, poor leadership, that people are elected into positions of authority, and there is, resources, public resources is available to them, and they made a mess of it. When people see the way you go about governance, the way you go about using the money that belongs to all of us, but now by election we have put you in charge of our collective wealth and collective patrimony, and you go about it in a reckless manner, even when you don't tell people, the signal you are sending to them is that you are not a good custodian of their wealth and resources. And if you are not, naturally something tells the people and say, you cannot continue to add more to this person. And adding more means paying my tax as at when due. So when I see recklessness in government actors, in government players, in people around the corridor of power, I am not encouraged to pay my tax. But you see, I know that tax payment is a civic responsibility, and it's one of the things we need to do to be able to answer to the name citizen. When they call citizen and you will answer boldly, you must be a taxpayer. So, but the reason people don't do it is because they have seen recklessness, incrementally from one regime to another. You see that your money is not well utilized. And if it is not utilized, if you see today, people see that their money is being utilized. Maybe, as you have seen in Anambra, many people have testified that in recent years they could see their taxes working for them. And that is why you see the government is talking about they have started recording some upward, trend in their revenue, because people see that, okay, if we give him, he's applying it maybe judiciously, and they feel that we can, maybe at least we can trust this one with our money in form of taxation. So I feel that if government stops being reckless with public finance management, this issue of taxation, people will begin to pay even without being prodded.
Okay, now, when you were talking, I just visualized somebody waking up and saying, it's January 15th, I need to go and pay my tax. You quickly, that morning, it's in your itinerary that you want to go and pay tax that day. Then when you come back, you smile with relief and all this. You were not forced. Can you imagine that situation in Nigeria, in Anambra State? Can it really happen? Not feeling that somebody is pushing you into paying your tax and losing your money. You don't see it as something you...
Yes, that's the thing.
Can we achieve that?
I think from time, it is not just in Nigeria that people evade tax. It is because we don't have a system that forces people or that compels them, that makes it difficult for them to evade. The difference between what we have here in those developed climes is that they have systems that made it difficult, in fact, practically impossible, that you don't pay. Because if you don't pay, you see that something has been taken away from your life. Something very important. If you don't pay your tax and your water maybe refuses to run, and you don't go to your neighbor to say, please neighbor, let me come and fetch from your own, it's because we have systems that permit this evasion. That's why it continues. But I know that apart from you coming to force people and waving the big stick and say, you must do this, you must do that, responsible governance can make people to begin on their own to pay taxes. So when people see a responsible government, a responsible president, a responsible governor, a responsible chairman at the local government, responsible leaders at all levels of governance, before you come and prod them and begin to, talk to them, they will you know, you don't need to spend so much effort before you convince them to pay. So I think we can start from giving people good governance. Like I cited the example of what many people have testified about the Anambra State situation, that they have seen the governor using the tax payment, tax money for developmental projects, and because of that, some people beyond being prodded are coming out to do whether they are declaring what is accurate is another thing. Somebody may be
that should be a topic for another day.
But there are people that are still that well cultured, that will just go on their own and say, okay, this is what because I don't want. Some people do it because I don't want harassment, you know. Harassment that comes with enforcement at a particular time in the course of the year, you know. So I think we will get there, but we need to start somewhere. But I'm sure that responsible governance will be the biggest secret of voluntary tax payments.
Okay, now we talk about CISLAC, we talk about CDEC, we talk about Oxfam. 3 of them, they are teaming now to work with CDEC. Okay, we talk about Oxfam, we talk about CDEC, and then we talk about the tax for
Tax Justice and
Governance, what is it called, platform. They are coming together to do this job, and you've been working with other partners, you know, before now. Let's talk about, you know, the role you have played in promoting tax for service in Anambra State, because you've had a number of programs on tax. What has been the effect? Do you think your efforts have yielded any success at all for the past 2 years that you've done this program?
Yes, I agree with you. We've done a whole lot of work when it comes to taxation, tax justice, tax for service. We've done a whole lot of work ranging from supporting communities to develop what we call charters of demand that serves as engagement tools between the government and the citizens. So we've done that, also supporting the traders to develop also market charters of demand that we've carried out in 21 markets, 7 markets per senatorial zone. So we're able to identify those.
And the 3 senatorial zones, each one 7
markets.
Okay.
And we are looking at those markets that contribute to the IGR. So we've worked so hard, and also working so hard with AIROS to ensure that from government actors there are other relevant ministries, such as Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We've worked so hard with the SPAD and also Ministry of Economy, Budget and Planning. And these are the major ministries we've worked so hard with. Ministry of Commerce and Finance to make sure that we're working towards achieving that Anambra State focus of 50 billion. So as at 2013, Anambra State IGR was 8.73 billion. As at 2014, it was 10.45 billion. As at 2015, it was 14.79 billion. As at 2016, it was 15.20. I'm just telling you the trend, right? As at 2018, it was 19.31 billion. As at 2020, it was 28.1 billion. As at 2021, it was 30.9 billion. As at 2022, it was 32.4 billion. You're asking me, are there changes, are there improvements, are there so? As I just concluded,
so it keeps increasing.
Yes, that's
why is it increasing? Is it because
I'm coming, right?
Okay, we need to take the divine mercy at 3, so that when we come back we'll finish up.
But as at 2024, it was 52 billion. The margin is
very high. And on the mother now, queer.
Yes.
Okay, let's quickly take the Angelus. We shall return on Tax for Justice. For now, don't go anywhere. Pray with us.
In the name of the Father, its citizens do not pay tax. What is the government's role in ensuring that taxes collected are used effectively to benefit the people, especially traders? How can the needs of the various markets in Anambra be articulated in the annual budgets and also implemented for their development?
Tax for service. Utu Isi Ogwu Mmepe.
Do you pay your tax? Why should you, as a trader and Anambra, contribute your fair share through tax? What does the government owe you when you pay your tax? Join us on
Tax for service. Utu Isi Ogwu Mmepe.
live on Anambra Broadcasting Service Radio, 88.5 FM, Oka, every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Come, let's discuss data for tax policy decisions and improvements in tax for service in Anambra State. Remember, by participating in this program every week, we will hold duty bearers accountable and transparent in revenue generation, and you will also understand why you must pay your tax.
Tax for service. Utu Isi Ogwu Mmepe.
Brought to you by Social and Integral Development Center, CEDAC.
Yes, we are happy to be back after the prayers here on the program Tax for Service.
Utu Isi Ogwu Mmepe.
And right here, like we told you earlier, it was brought to you by Social and Integral Development Center, CEDAC. We also have Tax Justice and Governance Platform, Anambra State. We have CISLAC, and then the funding support of Oxfam, bringing this program to you so that you'll be updated on the tax platform in Anambra State and what it has been doing to develop the state. And we've also been talking with Ugochi Hurike, who is the ED of CEDAC, and of course our own Alfred Ajay, who's a member of media team, Tax Justice and Governance Platform. And so as we took the break, so Ugochi, just in a nutshell, CEDAC working on taxation, working with the people, especially marketers, traders, not marketers, traders in Anambra State.
So, Free High Meputagoro is support Anambra State government because we are complementing Anambra State and their policies and programs with respect to taxation. So, Free High Meputagoro, like I said, looking at the trend of revenue, IGR generation from 2013 to 2024, so you can that new the change is incremental. So, yeah, because as at 2013, the IGR of the year was 8.773 billion, and as at this 2024 now, the revenue generation IGR was 52 billion. So for us, the margin is on the increase because we took the campaign to the markets, major markets. Like I said, we are in 21 structured markets, but Anambra State we have 158 structured markets, but we just sampled some major markets that are dealers of
so 151 markets,
58 structured
markets.
Yes, so we took this campaign by educating them. At least we made those market leaders to see the budget for the first time, to see the state budget for the first time. We took them through on understanding Anambra State budget, more especially Ministry of Commerce and Industry, what their roles are, how they should be working with SPAD, that special advisor to governor on markets. So because when we engage, even the Ministry of Market, Commerce and Industry, they were like, the traders don't have time to work with the government to also to know when decisions and how decisions are made, right? Because some of those traders, market chairmen of those markets, they weren't remitting accurately, right? But when we carried our campaign to them that you don't expect government to work without support. Government need our support. When government build roads and we are not paying what we should be paying, where would they get funding to complete the roads and to maintain the roads? Okay. I've been privileged to some information, even when I engage in some of those commissioners, you'll be seeing some kilometer roads that they'll be spending in billions, right? But we expect government to work. For instance, Ministry of Works, their budget for 2025 now is 292 billion. And our revenue is still at 52 billion. In as much as we know about FARC, we know about other donors that can be supporting. But then again, we still need to do more in our IGR. Yes, you said something. You're imagining that situation, that time when our people will voluntarily pay. That's also what I envisage for taking this campaign. We look forward seeing Anambra State that our IGR will be up to 70 billion. Because during Governor Soludo's, one of his presentations, he said that Anambra State, when you look at the structure, informal sector, that Anambra State can generate at least 1% of 7 trillion. That we are looking at 70 billion. Anambra State, looking at Anambra State present situation, present business status and all the rest, we can generate annually, looking at the number of markets, at least 1% of that 7 trillion. That is, we are looking at 70 billion. So we our aim is at the end of this project, in as much as we've been able to meet up with our projection, because we started this campaign when the revenue generation of the state was at the rate of 2.8 billion monthly. But I think with what is happening right now, we've been able to see us achieving that extent, but we're not relax that we are there. So what we are doing now is also to support the Ministry of Commerce and Industry to make sure that we do enumeration, because the ministry are doing enumeration right now to know the number of shops in the major market, because that was also what we clamored for, because we've conducted several studies in the market to know what can we do differently to generate revenue. Because when you look at the trend of revenue generator, you see that it's basically from civil servants.
Okay, Ugochi, when you were talking, you said you've been able to engage with market traders, you know, and I was just looking at you. I said, did the traders trust you when you came to tell them that government is prepared to work for them? Because there's this lack of trust between, from citizens, because of what Alfred said, that, governments in the past have not elicited trust and all these.
Yes.
So when you talk to Igbo Anambra senya to tax, then tax do you understand?
I don't blame our people.
What was the reaction of people at the beginning of the project? Because I know that now some people pay their taxes.
It wasn't
voluntarily.
It wasn't easy, right? In fact, I wouldn't say that we've achieved that 100%. With that engaging markets and they are responsive. We've not really achieved it 100%. It was not easy because one, our people over the years, they've lost confidence. They lost that trust with respect to governance. They thought that government is just for some people up there. So they lost trust. So it wasn't that easy. So, but what makes it a little bit easier for us right now is being able to educate these traders to know their rights, know what to demand for, understand government's blueprint, the agenda, and demand in line with government blueprint and agenda. Prior to Christmas, we developed this document.
Market charters of demand.
Market charters of demand.
We'll talk about it in one of the topics,
Yes.
How to generate market charters of demand in markets.
So what we did was to look at the major market, the bad road networks. So we took pictures of these roads. We went to SPAD, Special Advisor to Governor on Market, to make sure that we share the situation of such markets. Now SPAD made commitments, and market people are now seeing some improvements. For instance, Sokoto Road came out strongly. Then Bridgehead Road also came out strongly. And some of them with culvert issues, erosion issues. Governor is already addressing those markets and their needs when it comes to Onisha. Because Onisha main market, relief market, Ochanja, Oba Abada, drug market, these are the markets that focus on, and that's a part of that zone.
Ugochi, let's allow people to call in now. Kai we malo their needs. Ndị ba anyị na-ege ntị na afugo ihe anyị na-akọ kemgbe 30 minutes. Ka anyị malo kedu ebe ino, kedu afa ino, kedu the needs of the market. Ke ka Utu Isi anyị na-atụ ga-esinyela anyị aka ka government wee mee ife ndị anyị chọgasịrị na your market, what are your needs? Una afugo ndị tax for service ya ndị SIDEC bịalụnụ idochasị malụ ife unu chọrọ, some of the things ndị afia needed in a budget na dị na state budget. What is your input? Kpọọ anyị na 0706 538 1329. Kpọọ anyị na 0904 956 0826. Ọ bụrụ na ịkpọ anyị ịgwa anyị uche gị ka anyị na gị wee tụkọ alụ ọnụ o wee na-aga. Ka anyị malụ dịka onwe onye bata anụ. Let's find out. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Biko ọ bụrụ ịkpọ what's not radio gị pụọ ebe ọ dị o. Nwaanyị afọ ABC akpọ.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. How do you talk to East?
Welcome for you. Okay, go ahead. Utu Isi.
Ana m anụ ihe na-ekwu.
Kedu afịa dị n'akụkụ ụnụ? Unu sekwana ndị na-akụ Utu Isi?
Ebi m ụmụ nze na akwụkwọ ụmụ nze ka nna.
Ka afa gị?
Mayor na ama ọkpara mana ebi m ụmụ.
Welcome, Mayor. Ngwa tinye ọnụ na ihe anyị na-ekwu.
Ihe na-etinye ọnụ na mmiri asasị anwa. Datị mgbe mkpa, ịma ndị ọrụ oyibo na-akwụ ya every month. Mana etu esi anaji ya na nke Anambra nọdụ ka ọ nwere ihe dị na ya.
Ka esi anị?
Ihe a nọrọ ndị business premises. Asị local gọọmenti. Ndị ọzọ abịakwachi ụlọ steeti. Etu ọka ihe na-ebu moto na-aga ndị mmadụ ahụ. Ịbịakwuo n'afịa, ile akụ, ewere lesiti dọka ịhụ. Ile abacha, ewere lesiti dọka ịhụ nke ụmụ nze. Moto ihe nke ọ steeti na-ana nke ka ọ gịnị. Ihe ọbụla ịkpọwana na nke ụmụ nze ya anaghị ego. Ile enye, ile akwa anaghị ego. Etu a ka esi eme taasị nwa. Ekelekwe m.
Mgbadalụ. Ugochi, kwenu ihe okwu. Tell out ko onye ọzọ bata na ọ kwụsịzi anya. Hello. Hello. Tax eche ma onwe gọọmenti kwuru na onwe ihe dịka QR code or something a na-akwụnye na a na-eji akwụ tax na-akwụnye n'ofu akaụntụ gọọmenti. Kọwakenela anyị nke a maka na nafa onye nọ mmadụ nso na isi ezi mana ọ dịka onwe bata na Ugochi okwa n'iwe. Hello. Hello. We can't hear you. Hello. Okay, we'll go to another person. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Going up. Hello. Good afternoon.
Emeka n'ụkpọ.
Emeka.
N'ụkpọ.
No.
Yes. Dịka taasị a na-ekwu na Anambra steeti eso wee kwujuo ya afọ. Ahụ dị nka taasị ahụ ọ bụla ọka ebe ahụ ọ nọ na ka ọ na-arụ ọrụ bikos na mụ hazi na onwe m ihe niile mkpụrụ n'ụkpọ ebe a ọnwa niile ọkụ adị enwe sọsọ mbọsị anyị ji enwe ọkụ n'ụkpọ ebe a bụ sọsọ mbọsị Monday si that home kọmpi ndị ichiche agbanyesịa ọkụ wee nwụọ n'ụkpọ mpaghara ụkpọ ebe ntị ya na taadị ebe si esi na-ewu enweta ọkụ so ihe niile afọ na taasị enweghị nke na-arụ ọrụ n'ụkpọ ebe a onye ya bụ ihe mmekwu.
Okay. Ọ dị ka o nwere ile alụgo n'ụkpọ.
Enweghị ihe ahụ n'ụkpọ ndị oseti ire si kansụl wee jee ebe na-atọ jee afọ ihe jee unu ire ahụ anyị ebe niile ndị mba na-erisi abịa n'ụkpọ ebe a ire ahụ ada aga ya aga ha na-arụ ụzọ jee na bọọdụ gwa na one way road isi kansụl wee jee ebe na-atọ si efete ọsụnyere si efete amish si efete afọ ihe unity ire ahụ ada aga ya aga mana ihe dị na-ahụ a na-akwụtasị.
Okay, daalụ sọ. Enugo ihe Emeka sị na ihe ya niile bụ ụzọ na ọkụ na ya kwugide tax kwujuo afọ na otegị ya kwụba tax. So Ugochi ngwa tinye ọnụ n'okwu.
Okay, daalụ Ifi na Emeka daalụkwanụ Emeka ma nwoke ụmụnze right. Yes, ihe gbasatara nke ụzọ anụmanụ mma sịkwa na Anambra State Governor and Government na-eme ọfụma Ministry of Works na-agba na ike ha n'ihe gbasatara ụzọ. Last year ka m mee that analysis of na Anambra State Government chi aka na abụ 84 roads. 84 roads ka ha chi na the whole of the state. So mgbe anyị bịa nene ya even oge ha kwugidere ụgwọ one of those days nọ there ndị ha mere part payment was 80 billion. One of the commissioners Mampo had the minister Mugochi, can you imagine the kilometer roads and we're spending 80 billion. How much is our IGR? See Jomo, because the president general Zanyo government is how make a demand has also second demand also third demand also. That's why when government na ụzọ ofu ihe nchọrọ ịgwa gị ihe mma about government ahụ gọọmenti ada arụkwa n'ụzọ bara na ime ụlọ mmadụ ọ ga-awụrụ ụzọ nọ connect obodo n'obodo iji maa atụ ịbịa na Nnewi ha na-arụ ụzọ connect bank road connect ya that's from express connect ya bank road Nnewi motor spare parts ihe ha ji arụ nka connect bank road n'ụzọ connect ma timber market ma F-line motor parts machine parts electrical parts ahịa nwanyị Imo and Nwafọ Orizu market. So ihe a ụzọ ha na-arụ because ha na-adị n'anya kedu ndo mmadụ one na one group one na one ahịa one na one ka ụzọ a ga-emetụta affect that will benefit. That's one thing I know about government of Anambra State. Man always nke abanyeziri akwa ihe de banye Osumenyi banye Ebenator banye Oto banye Okpo jekwezie Iseke Lilo na ahịa anụma. I think all na governor emebere how patching because ahụ na ha nọ na maintenance of road this time because igbagodo ụzọ okporo ụzọ gbara express Oba Ojoto Nnewi ihu na ha emechicha n'ebe ha ji overnight we mechie the whole of last week and all tisa nke eji arụ ọrụ a.
Okay.
So government na anwa okike ha na ịrụ ụzọ anyị nwa na asịsị na ha gbanyere na ịrụ ụzọ mana ha bawazie n'ime ndị ahịa because ihe mere ma ikwu okwu trust today ọ bụrụ na ndị mmadụ na-ahụ ifuru ego ụtụ isi ha anụ ihe eji arụ ihe chetara ya mmadụ echetara deadline for payment of tax for 2024 is between January and March. Last day of the March. Even in my organization, before and after my finance are we not paying tax for this radio program I name? I don't know if you're getting me. VAT. So we pay our VAT. You pay it, it's your obligation. To account. My question and go on also accountable to a particular task.
Okay, now Alfred you've already talked about accountability and transparency, in taxation. That's actually what bridges trust between the government and the citizens. And I know that specifically in Nigeria, people don't take tax evasion as anything. They don't see it as a crime. But of course it's a crime. Yeah. Because ignorance of is not an excuse, a lack of knowledge about any law. So what do you think? How do you think we can sensitize people on being transparent about their obligations in tax payment? Because already we've talked about government being accountable, being transparent in their dealings and all these. Upward tax at the end of the day, so that you want to pay more. Like yesterday, when I was going home, through the back of the government secretariat, I was just happy. I was this tax money at work, I was happy. You see that if you are actually running on a smooth road, nobody will tell you to have confidence in the government. Now, how can we make our people also stop tax evasion? Know that if you're paying tax, some people might even go to hell, because they didn't pay tax for tax evasion. It's more spiritual and physical.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel that a lot has to do with sensitization and education. Most of the people that evade tax, maybe not most, some of the people that refuse to pay tax or fail to pay tax might not even know they are breaking any law. Some people just see it as if you are responsible. Any day I see that government is responsible, I will pay. And you see, even when government is responsible, because it's something, tax is taking something out of your purse. If you are a billionaire and you are paying tax of 1 million naira, it has reduced the figure of that billion. It's no longer up to 1 billion. So people naturally want to have more. And that is the orientation we need to change. And you can change it by making people to know that indeed government belongs to all of us. It is just that we cannot all occupy the government house. And that is why we need to elect a few persons to go there and, man the process of governance for us. And we call them governors, we call them local government chairmen, and we call them presidents. So people need to know that payment of tax, it is not even, to be candid, it's not even a question of whether government is doing well or not. Two wrongs don't make a right. If government is not giving good governance, and you also don't pay your tax, you have also erred, even as the person who is sitting at the helm of affairs has also erred. So you are also not guiltless. When you point at the person and say he's not doing well, you also know that you are also not doing well. Yeah. But we know that a good trigger for voluntary payment of tax is good governance. When people see that government is working well, when they see that this government is their own government, is doing things that please them and make them happy and make them proud to become citizens, to become citizens of that state, of that country, they will want to pay. So I think that a lot goes to sensitization. People need to be sensitized. Sometimes we think that we are a group of educated people, but you see that when you look at what happens around us, you see that we are still illiterate in some respect.
Thank you, Alfred and Ugochi. Just before we go, 1 minute of our time to talk about the fact that these days we have people's needs, traders' needs in a state budget. Is it possible?
Why not? Last year
has it happened?
Yes, because like in this campaign, Task for Service campaign in Anambra State, with our campaign last year, we pushed for 9 major markets for their needs to reflect in the state budget, which was achieved. This year is 21 markets, their needs reflecting in the state budget, and we've been following up with the market leader to know how far has the government done when it comes to implementation of those needs, right? And also following up with the government actors, commissioner, special advisor to governor on market to make sure that market needs are being addressed. I think we've done that concurrently, and we will continue to do it till the point when our major markets will be like Dubai of Africa.
We'll be alive to see that. But thank you very much, Ugochi Ehianurike, the Executive Director of Social and Integral Development Center, for coming to the program today.
Thank you, Ife, for having me. Thank you, our listeners out there.
We can't thank you enough. Alfred Ajayi, member media team of the Tax, Justice and Governance Platform. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Wherever you see Sislak, say thank you very much to them. Wherever you see Oxfam, thank them for supporting us financially. Wherever you see this group, Tax, Justice and Governance Platform, Anambra State, say kudos to them. And of course, Utu Isi, which is Social and Integral Development Center, SIDEC, thanks for joining us. I know a lot of people have been calling. You have a lot of questions to ask, but don't worry. Next Tuesday, we'll start on time at 2 on the dot, and then you bring all your questions about taxation. Let's get our tax working. Taxes in our budget, let's get them implemented. Thanks a lot. And thanks, Lucia, for looking at me like that. My name is Ife Onachukwu. We'll see you again next week. For now, we're out of here. Stand by for the news that is coming up at 3:30 after some messages. Bye for now.